the podcast where the mic drops happen. This is the SHAE Show.
Okay. Ready, let's go. You wanna win? Yes, sir. How it goes? Get ready, let's go. Go hard or go home. Hard or go home. Go hard or go home. Hard or go home. Go hard or go home. Hard or go home. Go hard or go home. Hard or go home. They can't stop you. No, they can't stop you. No, they can't stop you. They can't stop you.
To the SHAE Show. This is your host SHAE, kicking the show off with my very special guest from Fox5 Las Vegas, Paloma Villicana. If you do not know her, she is a Fox 5 Beats reporter. She does cover, our lovely WNBA team, the Las Vegas Aces. Paloma, introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi guys, super excited. Obviously, this is the biggest WNBA season ever. And it's buzzing here in Las Vegas. I cover the Aces, I cover all the sports teams here in Vegas, but I've never seen anything like this. The excitement, the viewership, the business investments, the talent. It's all skyrocketing in the WNBA, and this can only have a positive effect for all women's sports, for every collegiate women's sport. We're seeing more business investment at UNLV here in Vegas for the women's sports. Local leaders here in Vegas want to invest and want to help grow the game of not only women's basketball, but all the women's teams. So what we're seeing in the WNBA right now is historic, it is special, and I really think that this is going to have such a bigger impact for women and for young girls who are growing up playing sports. I know when I grew up, it really was Candace Parker and maybe just a few other women playing sports. And now when you turn on the TV, you can watch a women's basketball game up there with any of it's more watched than the NBA playoffs right now. So
Honestly.
yeah, so definitely an exciting time to be talking about the WNBA.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I never thought, as much as I hoped, I never thought the day would come where we would be talking about the WNBA more than we are talking about the NBA. And when you have that type of impact, that shows you how much things are, going to change and how much they already have. Because around this time, people will be like, man, the WNBA season starting, okay, whatever, we'll tune in when we have time. But now the difference is between back then and now is the fact that they are making time to tune in into a game or two, and we never had that before. And that shows you how much the women truly cared for the game, fought, and made their presence known. So when you have that and, going into year 28, which is crazy that the WNBA, I'm almost as old as the WNBA because I'm 25. I just turned 25 this past April. So just to see how far it has came, over a quarter of a century, it's just amazing as a woman and as a sports fan.
Yeah, it's been incredible to see, and I think the rookies are really making a major impact. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Camila Cadorso is injured right now, but all these rookies that have come into the league, they've really changed things. And when you think about Tom Brady coming into the league and investing in the Aces, Kim Kardashian coming into the league with her Skims line, and Lotto, and all these celebrities sitting courtside. That's so big. It's huge for the W. And it's just getting started. I mean, we're one regular season game into the books here in Vegas. So we're just getting started, and I'm so excited to really dive into the story of every single Aces player. They have two new rookies, Kate Martin from Iowa and Deasia Fair from Syracuse. So it was incredible to see the second round draft picks make the roster, and I'm really excited.
Real
But
tough
it's not only
game.
not only the Aces, but I feel like every WNBA team got better this year. You want to talk about Chicago, you want to talk about obviously I'm excited to see what Indiana will do tonight at home. So I'm super excited. I mean the Mercury, they looked different with Natasha Cloud out there in Phoenix now. The Storm, they got a lot of new faces too. So it's going to be a different year, but here in Vegas, it's like the Aces know that there's an X on their back. They know the pressure's there. They're at the top of the mountain. So they know they're going to get everyone's best game here in Vegas.
Oh yeah, definitely. And this is the thing. This is why, honestly, I'm actually happy for the Vegas, even though I'm a Sparks fan. The Aces, correct me. It's because the fact that we have not had a WNBA team this impactful before. You know, you can argue the Sparks. You can also argue the Comets, who I am vouching to make a comeback in the WNBA because they are who is missing in this women's revolution in sports. They are the ones who started it all, in my opinion, for the WNBA. If you can't mention the Caitlin Clarks, the Candace Parkers, and the Aja Wilsons without mentioning the ladies from the Houston Comets. That's where it
Yeah.
started. That's where back-to-back titles got started, and they are still your only three-peat champions. Well, as of right now, because we know the team that is obviously favored for the right reasons, and who is one more championship win away from repeating history. And I actually want to get into that on the show
Yeah.
because we talk about effects, we talk about the city of Las Vegas, even though having the Raiders there is clearly a basketball town, but it's not being led by an NBA team. It's being led by a WNBA team. Like the Aces, they have changed the game for the good. We are seeing women get their own stadiums. We're seeing women getting, their tickets and stuff sold out. We're seeing them getting great locker rooms. Like they look like actual locker rooms that you would walk into an NFL stadium and possibly see, or an NBA stadium or NHL. Usually men are the ones who gets those things, but to see women be awarded for that, and the Aces, are basically the forefront runners of that change is just amazing. But the Aces has not always been looked at as that team. We mentioned the Aja Wilsonsons, we mentioned the Kelsey Plums, we mentioned the Chelsea Grays, we mentioned the Mia Stokes, we mentioned all these girls. But in my opinion, correct me, sorry for the stuttering a little bit, but every great player or great team has a great coach. And we call this the Becky Hammon effect because the Aces, they've been top 5 in all phases since she's took over. Defensively and offensively, defensively, they've just been in the top 5. So they're not these teams that just sneak in. They know that you see them coming. They're going to make you see them coming, and they just dominate you on the court. So I just want to get into more of what your thoughts are on the Becky Hammon effect in Las Vegas.
She has completely changed everything here. I mean, when Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, purchased the Aces from MGM, that was a game changer. Mark Davis, you talk about the locker rooms, the facility that the Aces have here in Henderson. It is uncomparable to any other team in the league. What the Aces have here in Henderson is amazing. They have 2 practice courts. They have a sauna, cold tubs, weight room, lockers, not just the bare minimum. Mark Davis really went over the top for the Aces and invested money into the Aces. And you can see kind of their color change to silver and black this season. Also something that they're just moving into more of the silver and black to match the Raiders. But it's been incredible to see Becky Hammon come into Las Vegas and win 2 straight back-to-back titles. Not only has she inspired the WNBA, but she's inspired the NFL. She's inspired the Golden Knights, the hockey team here in Las Vegas. She's inspired the collegiate level at UNLV with the basketball and football teams. And the fact that she's a woman doing that, it's just incredible to see. I mean, when I'm at practice, when I get to pick the brain of Becky Hammon, it inspires me. I want to work hard. I want to do a good job. I want to give my full effort because I'm around these women. I'm around Asia Wilson every day. I'm around Becky Hammon. I'm around Chelsea Gray and Kelsey Plum. And these are just women that are, even just off the court, just talking to them, everything they do for the community. I know Kelsey Plum had her Under Armour dog class where she had the best guards in college come to her dog class at the IMG Academy in Florida. Asia Wilson went on her book tour for her book tour, Dear Black Girls.
Yeah, we're
And
gonna get into that.
yeah, I mean, it's like, where do you even begin with this team? Not only are they the best athletes in the world, Olympic gold medalists, two-time WNBA champions, two-time Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, you can't even fit Asia Wilson's resume into like a text message. It's so long. And to be honest, it's kind of like it's amazing now that the world is noticing the WNBA and these players, but they've been doing this for 27 years. They've been doing this for 27 years. These women have been so impactful for so long. Now we have this next generation of rookies coming in. Of course, I do think social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok has helped. It has helped grow the league. I mean, now we're watching highlights. My mom, who has never watched an Iowa basketball game, she knows everything about Caitlin Clark because of her phone. And I have men texting and calling me, and they want the latest Aces Asia Wilson jersey. Have they ever been to an Aces game? Probably not. But the fact that they see their presence on social media, the fact that media outlets are giving them that attention. It is just a different era of women's basketball, a different era for women. Doors are opening, opportunities are opening. I'm on this podcast with you. We're talking about women's sports. These are just more opportunities for women in sports, and it's amazing to be a part of.
Yeah, I'm actually happy for you that you're able to cover this. And this is one of the ultimate reasons why I decided to have you as my special guest on this episode, because I wanted to get into the Aces. I don't think I could have gone any further this year without speaking on the Aces, speaking on their dominance, speaking on their impact. You mentioned, Kelsey Plum and her Under Armour deal, but we also mentioned Asia Wilson and her book on Dear Little Black Girls or Dear Black Girls, Be True to You. I actually read a little bit of that book online, and honestly, that's a book that was just well needed, in my opinion, because we don't have many bills, deals and books inspiring little black girls or female of color to yeah, we just don't have enough promotion of that. We don't have enough of the impact. We don't see enough of women of color being promoted and being put in this foundation where they can inspire others. And I'm not gonna lie, she has took great advantage of the opportunity she has. She has not wasted any. You put her on the court, she dominates. She just got done averaging 30 points first game of the season.
Yeah.
Like usually you'll get that, maybe the second, third game of the year, but she just
Yeah.
came out and just gave you a 30 piece. And then before that, her Gatorade deal, her Nike shoe deal, which is called A1, that is coming out next year in 2025. So let's speak a little more on that. What was your reaction when you heard basically back to back weeks that she would not only be sponsored by Gatorade, she would be sponsored by Nike and be the second Black or minority player since Candace Parker in the Adidas shoe to have her signature deal.
It's so important. It's so important, and I think, as you mentioned, she's a strong Black woman to look up to for younger Black girls to look up to her. I always say on air, I hope everyone, Black or white, looks at Asia Wilson and say, "Man, I can do that. I want to do that." And it's like you mentioned, when I was growing up, I'm Mexican American. There's not many Mexican American women that are covering sports, that are on the sidelines of the NFL, on the sidelines of the WNBA. And just like you mentioned, just being that face, that figure, she's opening doors for women, colored women, women of color, and she's doing such a good job of it. And the Nike deal, much deserved, much deserved. There's not enough room on a paper to write her accomplishments. Her resume is longer than you can ever imagine. And she's still hungry. She's still not satisfied. She's still chasing a three-peat. She's still chasing her third MVP award. She's still chasing greatness. And yeah, I mean, it's huge that Gatorade and that Nike are pouring into her. She deserves every deal endorsement that she gets. And not only her, but so many veterans in the WNBA. I'm glad that the attention and the business investment is coming into the WNBA, because these women have deserved it for so long. You look at Candace Parker's career. It's just, these women have deserved it. They've earned it. They should be on every national broadcast at 6 p.m., 5 p.m. Like they should be. This is they are this is the recognition they deserve. So no doubt Asia Wilson is opening the door for young Black girls, women of color. She really is. I know the BET Awards just came out with nominations, and it's Angel Reese, it's Flau'jae Johnson, it's Asia Wilson, it's all the incredible young Black girls that are really, really opening new doors for us, and it's just amazing to see. I'm honored to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's honored. I'm just honored to be a fan. I'm honored to be alive to a point that if I have children tomorrow or grandchildren down the road, I'll be able to sit down and tell them, hey, this is the story. You know,
Yeah.
this will be a story that you can definitely tell the younger generation of women who unfortunately is missing out right now because they're not existent. And we speak on Angel Wilson and the impact. Now, she did win Defensive Player of the Year last year. And back to back years, the Aces dominated defensively, averaging 35.3 rebounds in 2022, came back averaging 34.8 rebounds in 2023, also averaging 3.9 blocks in 2022, averaging 4.8 blocks the following year in 2023. And they were ranked, they went from fifth to first, went from
Mhm.
fourth to fifth, but 8.1 steals in 2022, which ranked second, or no, 2023, correct me, which ranked second, 7.7 steals, which ranked fifth in 2022. So, speaking of all of this, what did they ever speak to you about how they were able to stay consistent? Because I would just like to know. I have never seen a team dominate like this, and I would just like to know, is there anything they shared with you with how they were able to stay consistent and remain basically a top 5 team in the WNBA?
Asia Wilson is the best defensive player I've ever watched in my life. I mean, she is so talented offensively, but I think she's even better on the defensive end of the court. Her blocks are electrifying, her steals. She is such a threat out there on the court. And then on the other end, she can shoot a three. She goes and she's so hard in the paint. I mean, she's just dominant anywhere on the basketball court. And I always say, she deserves to be MVP every single year, the way she's played so
She
consistently.
should have gotten it
But I
last year.
Yeah, and I do think it's just Becky Hammon, she's able to just really pull the best out of her players. I mean, she really demands excellence every single rep. And she really does get down on them defensively. I mean, we all know that they're super talented offensively, but I think Becky Hammon prides herself on the defensive end. I mean, she's coming from the NBA, she's coming from Greg Popovich, and what we saw last year defensively from the Aces was just incredible. I mean, it was just night in and night out. The Aces were blowing teams out. I mean,
Yeah,
there were
they
just,
finished back-to-back years #1 in
I
scoring
mean,
offensively.
and their quote last year was Aces versus everybody. I mean, it was really anyone who came into Vegas, it was just they were unstoppable. And I know the New York Liberty gave them a hard time. I feel like that was really the only team last year that gave them a hard time. But of course, the Liberty were loaded last year too. So and Tuesday night, I know Diana Taurasi put up a strong game. She hit 7 threes. Incredible to see Diana Taurasi still come out in her first regular season game and dominate. So they do need to work things out right now. I know Chelsea Gray is out right now with a left leg injury, so they're still working things out and trying to organizationally figure things out with new faces. But what we saw last year and even the year before was really special. If you want to play defense, if you want to coach defense, if you want to get better on defense, just watch any Aces game from last season. They were just dominant, and it was so exciting to see.
Yeah, I have to agree with you because, like we already established, when you are a team who not only wins back-to-back championships, but you have the stats within all your players, at least your top 5, to show why. And here's what I did not add, that at least 3 to 4 out of your starting 5 finished in the top 10 of the WNBA last year in scoring, in points averaged. That is insane that 3 out of 4 of your 5 starters finished in the top 10 of the WNBA last year. Right there tells you more than enough and more than you need to know. All you need to know about the talent that is on the team, but to have a great coach like Becky Hammon who can coach up the best of them. I think if you put her on any WNBA team, you can probably see the same thing happening. Now, I'm not going to sit here and be all crazy and say you're going to have an Aja Wilson. You won't. You'll be blessed if you even get a Chelsea Gray or Kelsey Plum on your team. Aja
Mhm.
Wilson, in my opinion, is a once in a lifetime athlete. That is a once in a generational player. Point blank, whether you love her or whether you hate her. And the thing that I love the most about her is that she's unapologetically herself. She didn't come in being all Hollywood. She acknowledges her fans. She respects her fans, but she also handles her business and know how to prioritize. And not only is she such a dominant player and seems as if a great human being, but she's a team player as well. So if there ever has to be nights where she has to take the back seat and let someone else dominate, she's willing to do that. So she's someone to me I would like to build a team around because she seems as if she's all about winning and winning only.
And we talked today on Fox 5 if there's, who's going to be in the running in the postseason, who's going to give the Aces a run. And I look at the Aces starting 5 and I look at that roster, and it's so funny because I'm just like, man, I don't even know who can come close to this talent. This
Yeah,
roster is so deep. It's so
I was just
incredible.
about to get into that.
I mean, we talk about, the Liberty and the Sun and, the Storm have a lot of new faces and all that, but I keep going back to the starting 5. And if Chelsea Gray can get healthy and get back into the starting 5, I mean, ESPN gave them a 58% chance to three-peat. So it's uncomparable.
Right, and they have a great chance. And say if they are to three-peat, which I'm afraid they're going to, they will be the first WNBA team since the Houston Comets in 1996, 97, I think it was, to three-peat. that's insane because we've seen tons of great WNBA teams, but we have never seen them like this since the Comets. And that's what I think all the hype of the Aces is about because I think I speak for all WNBA teams. We never thought we would see this again. And the fact that we are, or we have a great chance, and the fact that they were able to maintain all their talent, because you'll usually think that come free agency, somebody would get snatched up, and maybe they were other teams were attempting to, but Becky Hammond and Aja Wilson, I think, are so impactful that it's hard for any player to lead them because they don't see anybody in the league better to play around than them. Not saying that they can't, flourish on their own because the thing is about the Aces, what makes them so dangerous is not only these are great to elite players in their, starting five lineup, but these are women who bring something different to the table that is extremely impactful to the team. So when you have all of that, it's amazing. But we talked about, got a little bit into their threats. And that was actually going to be my next question for you was who would be the biggest threat in both the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference to take down the Aces?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it today on Fox 5, and like I mentioned, the starting five with the Aces. Chelsea Gray, that's a huge factor. She's still coming off the injury that she suffered in the finals last year, so she's still dealing with her left foot, her left leg, her left foot that she's dealing with right now. So, that's a huge piece. That's a huge piece. I'm praying for Chelsea to get better. And I know she just had a baby, so that's, and maybe the Olympics will maybe help things out for her recovery wise. But if you have Chelsea Gray, Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, and I can't remember Kia Stokes, or I can't remember who's their five. But they're unstoppable. They're really unstoppable. So what do I like from the East? The Sun. The Sun have always been given. They've been so physical. I'd say that roster is really talented as well. So they've been super physical, really good defensive team. And then on the West is hard because there's a lot of new players out here on the West. But I'm interested to see how the Storm look.
Vice
You know,
versa. Vice
yeah,
versa.
yeah, I was gonna say I need to watch a couple more games of the Storm just because there's that's the team I have my eyes on. But other than that, Las Vegas is dominant. So
Yeah, I don't see no other threats, and I'm a Sparks fan. We got a lot of work to do in LA before we even think to compete against this team. But we spoke on Angel Wilson. We spoke on how she started off hot in the season. Do you think she will be the favorite to win MVP? And if not, who would you have as your favorite as of right now?
as of right now, I mean, yeah, I would give it to Asia Wilson. As of right now, just the way she came out and dropped 30 in the season opener. Who would be number two? It's always her and Brianna Stewart. But I don't know. I want to see someone maybe come out. I'm trying to think of a player who's just as dominant as Asia Wilson defensively. I mean, we have a lot of shooters in this league. We know Sabrina Ionescu, she's a sniper. But it's just like who is as dominant on both ends of the court? And I really can't think of a better defensive player than Asia
I
Wilson.
can't either.
And if Chelsea Gray is healthy, I mean, Chelsea Gray in the postseason is just something I've never seen
A
before.
whole nother animal.
She just I have never seen a basketball player like Chelsea Gray in the postseason. It's just my jaw is on the ground. I mean, the entire arena in Vegas is just on their feet in awe of how Chelsea Gray plays in the postseason, and she's just a monster. I mean, she's a dog. The point god is what they call her. So it's hard to say who's number two. I want to see who emerges this year, who's as dominant defensively. Because right now I can't put my name on it.
Yeah, I can't either. I gotta agree. I'm gonna go with Aja Wilson because not only is she dominant defensively, she's a game breaker offensively. So you have to be able, to me, to be dominant on both sides of the court. And I don't think of another player before I think of Aja Wilson. Like we
Mhm,
can go the Joel Lloyds, we can
mhm,
go, the Anika Ogenmikes, we can go there. We can go to Kelsey Plums, but it
mhm.
comes down to, are they more clutched and are they more dominant defensively than
Defensively,
Wilson? And that's a no
that's a no.
in my book. And it's no disrespect to them, but she is just that great.
Yeah. I can see Asia Wilson's blocks in my mind right now in front of me. I mean,
I
she
wouldn't play her.
swats she swats that ball like if I'm dribbling and Asia Wilson's in front of me, it's over. It's over,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
um I don't think we talk about Jackie Young enough.
Uh,
Jackie Young is smooth. She is smooth.
I love
Um,
her 3-point range.
oh man, Tuesday night, she really turned it up. She really turned it up. I don't know if she had like 22 or 25, but she turned it up and she's clutch too. She's clutch
Yeah.
too.
She can be a
Final sec
favorite if she stay healthy.
Absolutely. Final seconds on the clock, I mean, I would put the ball in Jackie's hands anytime. She's a baller. She's a baller. She's kind of quiet, a little bit shy, but she's a threat out there.
Yeah, she really is. We don't talk about her enough. But I
Mhm.
think what it is just when you mention the Aces, it's so much talent on that team that
Yeah.
when we be disrespectful, you just forget about one because some people forget about Kelsey Plum when they mention Chelsea Gray. Some people
Yeah.
forget about Chelsea Gray when they mention Kelsey Plum, and then it's
Yeah.
her who just gets buried. And then, well, you can't forget about Aja Wilson. So it's just things like that. But before I let you go,
Yeah.
I just have one more question for you. What games or who are you looking forward to the Las Vegas Aces to play this season?
Yeah, I mean, I know that they are moving into a bigger arena to play the Fever. I obviously would love to see Caitlin Clark in person. She's their first game is May 25th against Indiana Fever. So and we all saw she struggled in her first game, still scored a team high 20 points.
Yeah, as a
But
rookie, that's a great number.
I mean, she'll get better. I mean, it's funny because like we talk all the time about just I cover UNLV here, and UNLV, the Lady Rebels, they're really good. They've won 3 back to back to back Mountain West championships. They're really good. But the WNBA is a completely different league. So, you're going from playing 18, 19, 20-year-old girls to playing 30,
From women.
39, 40, 41-year-old girls. So, you're doubling the age in the WNBA. So I'm just really excited to see Caitlin Clark. Of course, I want to see Chicago too. Camila Cadorso is another player that I'm just like, wow. I saw her with South Carolina. Her game winner three, that was so exciting. And yeah, I mean, I just think the Fever, the Sky. I want to see the Storm. I want to see what this new looking Storm team looks like. And then I know that the Liberty and the Aces, that matchup is it's
I want to go
chippy.
to that game.
Yeah, I mean it's a high scoring game because you got Stewie, you got Ionescu. Don't forget about Jonquel Jones, who is, man, she's a really good player too. So there's just so much talent in the WNBA, and I'm glad that the cameras, the eyeballs, the attention is there. Because there's just so much talent, and there's not really one player that's the face of the league. There's really so many superstars now, and it's just really exciting. It's going to be an amazing season, and it's just getting started.
Yeah, we're definitely just getting started. And I think that, excuse me for my language, but I say we're in one hell of a ride. We're in for
Mhm.
one hell of a ride with these girls. But that's all I got for you. I would like to thank you for joining me on this show as my special guest. If you guys are not watching the WNBA, please tune in as we have games tonight and for the remainder of the week. Definitely watch the Las Vegas Aces if you haven't. Once again, thank you, Paloma, for joining.
Of course. Thanks so much. I appreciate your time and go Aces.
Hey, have a great day.
Thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of the SHAE Max Show. This is your host, SHAE, signing out. Click the follow and subscribe button now for more episodes and to get updates on the show. To view more content from the show, give us a follow on your favorite platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and much more, all at the SHAE Max Show. And you can give me, your host, a follow on those same platforms at SHAE Max Sports.